The Bureau of Labor Statistics just came out with April's CPI report, and there is good news and bad news, which is actually an improvement from the last year or so when there has been exclusively bad news. We'll talk about details in a bit, but here is the report. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers increased 0.3% in April on a seasonally adjusted basis, after rising 0.4% in March. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today, over the last 12 months, all items index increased 3.4% before seasonal adjustment. The index for shelter rose in April, as did the index for gasoline. Combined, these two indexes contributed to over 70% of the monthly increase in the index for all items. The energy index rose 1.1% over the month. The food index was unchanged in April, which is great to see, finally. The food at home index declined 0.2%, which is when you buy food and cook it at home, while food away from home rose 0.3% over the month, which is like going out to eat and stuff like that. The index for all items, less food and energy, rose 0.3% in April, after rising 0.4% in each of the 3 preceding months. Indexes which increased in April include shelter, motor vehicle insurance, medical care, apparel, and personal care. The indexes for used cars and trucks, household furnishings and operations, and new vehicles were among those that decreased over the month. The all items index rose 3.4% for the 12 months ending in April, a smaller increase than the 3.5% increase from the 12 months ending in March. The all items less food and energy index rose 3.6% over the last 12 months. The energy index increased 2.6% for the 12 months ending in April, and the food index increased 2.2% over the last year. And then here you can see the last year of information on a month-over-month basis, all in one spot. And as you can see, in 2023, it was kind of wild and all over the place. But then in October is when things looked like they were going to be getting better, and then they started to get worse as inflation increased and increased and increased, and finally, for the first time in 6 months, we're seeing it go down from March to April from 0.4% to 0.3%. And here's the Bureau of Labor Statistics yearly change measured on a monthly basis, and as you can see here, it was incredibly high in 2021, and then it's gone from 3.5% down to 3.4% on a yearly basis measured at the end of March, and then again at the end of April. And this is not a huge change, to be sure, but it is finally a change in the right direction. Now, I said there was good news and bad news, and those kind of come hand in hand, so I'll just give it to you both at once. In the 12 months through April, the CPI increased 3.4% after climbing 3.5% in March. Economists polled by Reuters had a forecast of the CPI gaining 0.4% in the month, which is April, and advancing 3.4% year over year. So the good news is that the forecast was 0.4% on the month, and it actually came in at 0.3%, as you can see here, which is exciting to see. But the bad news is that it was expected to advance 3.4% year over year, and as you can see here, it did actually advance 3.4% over year. So in the very short term, we have good news that inflation cooled a little bit, but in the long term, it's pretty much the same that we've been seeing. It's far above that 2% mark that the Fed is essentially going for. So what does this mean for interest rates? And the answer is probably nothing. It's a good start, to be sure, but there's no way that this is enough of an improvement for the Fed to be willing to drop rates in June. We're just not seeing it go back to that 2% mark they're going for, because the year over year was still coming in at expectations of 3.4%, which is higher than we want it to be. There's a possibility if we saw some dramatic drop in May, maybe at 0% or 0.1%, they might consider it in June, but more than likely what we're going to see is this very slow trend of improvement continuing on until they're meeting in September, and then maybe we will see cuts in September, but only if we continue to see this cooling between now and then. Short video today, but I just wanted to give you this update as fast as possible. Thanks for watching.